The Innovation Africa Digital Summit took place in Ethiopia this year, and key decision makers and thought leaders from both government and business were in attendance to discuss the opportunities and challenges in Africa's ICT sector. Bronwyn Seaborn caught up with Themba Khumalo, who's operations executive at MTN, to discuss how the company is developing its strategy.
MTN is running two businesses effectively: the voice business, the traditional voice business, and data business. I think if you look at our growth, we've experienced meaningful growth on the voice side, which was just over 12% overall. But what's really encouraging and which really supports our future growth potential is the growth we experience on the data side of our business. In our last financial results, we announced a 59% growth of data revenues from 2011 to 2012, which is quite significant. And also, if you look at the traffic side, the data traffic grew by a phenomenal 69% from 2011 to 2012. For me, that underlines the growing potential for us to realize even further growth on the data side, which really helps us to be a growing entity into the future.
At the moment, is there an area, say, on the continent that is particularly contributing growth to your overall business?
Overall, if you look at our various markets where we operate, I would say certainly if you look across all the markets, there is growth, which is a positive sign. And at the same time, in markets where they have been slightly behind in terms of rolling out data networks, there's now a strong commitment from the regulators to allocate spectrum and licenses for us to start launching data services, particularly 3G in particular. And we have a number of markets which are in West Africa where we've received the licenses, and where we are in this current financial year, starting from last financial year, rolling out 3G networks to ensure that we can bring this new experience to almost all markets where we are. So as MTN, we have a deliberate plan to ensure that data gets the right focus, and we are committing resources. If you look at the CapEx expenditure for 2013, it's grown from the last year, and the largest chunk of that expenditure will be going towards investing in data networks across all our markets. So really, in essence, there is growth that we're experiencing across all markets.
I know you are launching quite a cost-cutting initiative this year. Let's maybe chat a bit about that. Where are we going to see some of the costs being a little bit tighter?
Well, I mean, really, for any serious player to have a sustainable business has to look in a number of areas to bring cost effectiveness. As much as we are looking at growing revenues, we are trying to look at internally to see how best can we restructure ourselves, and probably in some areas even share some common services and transactional services that we can do on a central basis. So we have a very focused project that MTN has embarked on, which will be running for the next 3 to 5 years, looking at bringing some of these services to a central location and sharing on a global basis across all markets. And I think that really brings us to a level where we're looking at internal efficiencies, and at the same time looking for rolling out new services that can help us grow revenues and make us more effective in terms of platforms that can make us more efficient in the way we deliver our services. So it's a really wide approach we are taking, but with a key emphasis on ensuring we achieve cost effectiveness.
Is it more cost effective in terms of strategy going forward for MTN to get involved in greenfield operations or acquisitions?
Well, as it was clearly announced in our last financial results, we MTN continuing to look for new opportunities, and I think those have to be obviously of the right size, which can really help to bring a new contribution to the size of the company in terms of all factors that we're looking at. And I think if you look at greenfields, the opportunity for greenfields is becoming less and less as most of the markets are developed. But as we have heard, we are looking at going into Myanmar, where we are one of the 90 companies bidding for that license. And for us, that's very important. Myanmar presents an opportunity to really realize more growth because they still have very low penetration, and I think that's an opportunity that we can exploit collectively with the nation of Myanmar ensuring that we bring in this advanced development of infrastructure and services to the people and help the economy grow even faster going forward. But that's not the only one. There are other opportunities that we are exploring. And as you know, that we've got an office also in Ethiopia, currently focused on helping deliver value-added services. I think that's just a starting place where MTN is finding itself having to allow the process to transform itself in this country, because regulation hasn't really changed significantly to allow competition. But we're saying, as we work with the Ethiopian authorities, we will participate, and we are participating in delivering value-added services in this market. It's only a building block for better things in the future.